All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Ori and the Blind Forest All Skills Tournament. I am Voligen, and I'm here today with Sigmason, and we're going to be bringing you this match between QQstafoo and SnoopyMKWii, the final match in the Sara Pass group. Sigma, how are you doing, and what do you think about this match?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. This match should be pretty good, although both players are more going to be racing the clock than racing each other in this case.
That is true. You know, we've got almost all the groups settled in, and in this particular group, even if Snoopy does manage to take a win here over Stafoo, which would set up the three-way tie with 1 and 2 records across Stafoo, Snoopy, and Chicken, it actually will come down to their average race times, which are somewhat kind of settled already. So it's most likely that Stafoo is going to take second place, Chicken is going to take third, and Snoopy is going to take fourth in this group. But these runners both have an opportunity to kind of author their own destiny in the bracket seedings. What are we looking at with that, Sigma?
Well, basically, they just want to get as low of an average as they can to improve their seating. Right now, as you can see on the screen, Stafoo he's got a very nice average race time among second seeds. I think, yeah, with the 11th seed, that's second among second seeds, I believe. And Terra is pretty far out of reach, I think, because Terra's average race time is absolutely insane. And but Chicken, wait, hang on, I'm losing my mind. Cover for me.
All right, yeah. So Stafoo is pretty likely to be at best 11th place in that bracket because of, as you mentioned, Terra's ridiculous average. Stafoo would actually need to PB by 8 seconds in order to be able to ascend. And actually, that's compared to his unrecorded PB, which you actually might see on this sheet here. We've listed his PB is technically 33.58, but actually he has an unrecorded 33.32, and he would need to top that by 8 seconds in order to move up over Terra. But
yeah.
he also needs to watch, that he doesn't get too slow of a time here. If he gets like a 37.34 or worse today, he actually will move down in that bracket seating, and he really obviously does not want to go any further down. You're going to end up facing stiffer competition on your way through the bracket.
Mm-hmm. I don't think, even if Stafoo bumps down a bit, I think he's going to have an okay time with round of 32, but, you get into a less favorable position for round of 16, and then it starts to get scary, so definitely want to put on your best performance.
Indeed, and Snoopy is going to be looking to do the same thing. He's pretty well situated in 28th place there. He is, as such, he's going to avoid the prelimination stage, as it were. The bottom 8 players will all have to play a first match before getting into the round of 32, and Snoopy, currently in 28th, will avoid that. He just needs to get better than a 43.39, and if he's able to pull that off, he's going to keep his hold on 28th place. Now, there's actually a few players in the prelimination range who still have matches left, so they could improve their average by enough. But the closest one is Skyfo, and he would need to have a time that is 4 minutes faster than Snoopy's final race time in order to pass him and get out of the pre-elimination bracket himself. So most likely, we're going to see Stafoo be able. We're going to see Snoopy be able to hold on to that, but you never know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's kind of a rough position in a way too, because you may avoid that prelimination round, but you also don't get one round where you have an even matchup at the start, and you have to instantly jump into playing against Epicat or somebody of that level. So it's going to be rough for him in the first round of the bracket. But what can you do?
Yeah, in fact, one nice thing about that prelimination bracket is that at least you get to play a match, as one of those lower seeds, you get to play a match that you have a chance in compared to facing off against Hetfield. But you never know. I mean, it's Ori. Anything could happen. Hetfield could have like 80 crashes during your race, and suddenly you're in there. God, please don't let that ever happen. So real quick, we'll take a look at the two runners. We'll just have a quick overview on them. As you see, Snoopy's PB is just over 6 minutes behind Stafoo's. He actually just PB'd this morning, right before the race, this evening for him, I guess. So he's going to be looking to ride that confidence into this race here. And what have we seen so far from Snoopy and SnoopyMKWii in the tournament so far, Sigma?
Well, we saw Snoopy take his first race in commanding fashion. Snoopy. I'm trying to go left from right here. SnoopyMKWii takes his first race in commanding fashion against Chicken, and then he barely dropped one to Hobbs. That was kind of a rough race for him. Hobbs had a really good race that time, and SnoopyMKWii just kind of missed things a few times, like missed a couple Soro bashes, missed, had a few bad deaths, that kind of thing. Meanwhile, Snoopy, he lost both his games, but he was close in both of them. Only a minute 16 behind Hobbs and only 2:01 behind Chicken when he raced there. So, I mean, he has a very good average race time, by far the best average race time among fourth seeds, but unfortunately not taking any of those wins home to, jump up in the bracket a little bit.
Indeed. I mean, we'll see. If you never know what could happen here. I would say that we're probably expecting for SnoopyMKWii to be able to take this matchup, but it could be the case that maybe SnoopyMKWii, he might be a little bit off his game. He was having a little bit of a rough time in practice earlier, and Snoopy riding that PB, who knows what could happen.
Yeah, I mean, the times you see on screen would indicate that there's no way SnoopyMKWii's going to lose, but anything can happen to you in Ori. You can just die. Like, you can just lose your mind and start dying repeatedly in Soro Pass and just lose a bunch of time to that. So he can't count anybody out until the race is actually done.
Well, we're going to be getting the race started momentarily on SRL, and then we will see it on stream shortly after that. I'm pretty excited for this. Even though it's not necessarily all that likely to be a super close matchup, I'm always excited to see what each runner is going to bring to the table this time.
Yeah, it's always fun to see what happens. So we'll probably be getting underway pretty shortly, and then we'll see what they can bring to this one.
So first question I got to start off with, Sigma, are we going to see some color codes?
I wish we collected stats on the color codes. I feel like these guys we're gonna see at least one color code done here. Personally, I hate doing the color code because I've had too many bad experiences with dark purple and then not being able to see anything during glades and trying frantically to switch off of it and getting dark blue, and that's just a reset that you don't want to have happen. But we're off to the races. SnoopyMKWii busting out the color code immediately, and he has way better color code luck than me because that looks like pink, and that's pretty much the best color you could possibly get.
He actually got a pink, and then he switched it for a blue, which is interesting. So things looking pretty good for him. Both runners basically neck and neck here, not having any problems navigating. In fact, kind of frame for frame there as they pick up that energy cell. And they're coming upon the Rhino. Not usually any major divergences at this point. It's just about making sure that you are always going left and that you stop as few times as possible. No problems from either runner on that matter.
Yeah, the optimizations you can do on the way down to sign are very minor, like trying to jump through the wall as the Rhino kills it to carry some of your momentum. And hard to tell. They're pretty much synced, so they either both got it or they both missed it.
Yeah, and even the difference between those two is like frames or maybe half a second tops.
Yeah, at most.
Slightly slower Frankie fight for Snoopy, but not particularly crazy. Had a little bit of trouble getting the timing on the skip for that map screen. So he'll start slightly behind. They're going to be making their way towards wall jump. SnoopyMKWii taking a little damage there. I think Snoopy took the damage from the bramble pad. So SnoopyMKWii's rocking the 2 HP. Snoopy probably also, and they're going to just make sure to be careful. You don't want to run into these brambles here, which deal 2 damage and take a death immediately.
Before wall jump, I can tell you, is not very fun, especially not in a tournament race. Actually, Voligen could tell you about that too. I come to think of it.
yeah, I could. Looks like Snoopy's rocking 1 HP here, coming up on the slime in the tree, so he's gonna have to get it out of the way, make sure he doesn't take the hit, and he does get through just fine. So he's opened up a little bit of a deficit here as SnoopyMKWii was able to get through pretty cleanly without taking without taking the avoidable damage before that slime, whereas Snoopy just had to take a quick break there. But they're both through their ghost doors, no problem, and they're both going for the health cell, of course. Oh goodness. Oh no. Oh, of course he has the ghost door save. It's a rough
not
death
as
for
tragic
Snoopy.
as a death as it could be, but that one is not one you want to see. So a little bit of spaghetti coming out from Snoopy right at the start here, but not the most painful death you could take in this segment. So could definitely be worse.
SnoopyMKWii is, man, I'm gonna get confused all day long about SnoopyMKWii and Snoopy. Like, I don't know why their names aren't that similar, but it's gonna drive me crazy. SnoopyMKWii is coming in on
6
wall jump,
letters.
and
Yeah.
he looked like he had a pretty good start there. Snoopy was just going in on the keystone there, so he's around 10 or 15 seconds behind. It's not anything insurmountable, but it is, of course, it's just that's evidence of the difference between the two runners. SnoopyMKWii having a 33, that's a very, very good time. He is one of the top runners in the tournament, notwithstanding his position as a likely second place finisher in a group.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like, it would have been easy for SnoopyMKWii to be a first place finisher. It's one of those one of those groups where the first and second place are basically interchangeable. And I'm pretty sure SnoopyMKWI's average race time is better than Hobbs's, but he just didn't win that match. So, what can you do?
Yep, and I mean that's exactly why we play the races instead of just seeding directly into the bracket, is to see what sorts of things happen in that respect. And part of it is like you might have a better PB. That doesn't necessarily make you always the better runner. Some days you're going to have a bad day and it's going to not go your way. SnoopyMKWii making his way back towards Blackroot Burrows. He is blazing right now. He is on quite good pace. Snoopy has just made his way out of wall jump, so he is still around, looking almost like 20 seconds difference or so right now. A couple of those little missed jumps getting up to the health cell and the difference early on just kind of causing little issues, but he is doing okay for himself. That only death so far didn't really cost him a huge amount. That's definitely the cheapest wall jump death you ever want to take.
Yeah, and just to point out, like, this is the sort of thing that you kind of expect to see.
That, on the other hand, is not the kind of death that you want to take. Snoopy, unfortunately, jumping into the brambles right after that slime, very close to BRB too. So that is death that I've also taken in a race, and it's super costly. Unfortunately, it's around a minute.
Yeah,
so
that one hurts a fair bit. Jumping into spikes again there, that is just kind of like, oh my gosh, everything's going wrong this race. I hope he gets it under control and manages to bring a bit smoother play into the mid game. But this can happen to you in races. You don't have the liberty of resetting.
Indeed, and you just you have to hope that your mental state, you're able to just kind of keep it on an even keel as you go. But sometimes that can be hard. You take that death there, and you never know where your head's gonna go. So we're having some slight technical difficulties, so we're trying to make sure we're still able to follow along. But now we have looks like SnoopyMKWii was able to make it through his cycles in BRB. Looks like he is still on very good pace, so he clearly didn't take a death, clearly didn't miss any cycles. And Snoopy is just now coming into the Spirit Well, and he's going to take that safety save to be able to go into BRB on full health.
Yeah, it's always a good decision. If you're not too confident in surviving Blackroot at 1 or 2 health, just dump those 4 seconds, and then the lantern part suddenly becomes half as scary, which is still really scary, but half as scary.
Indeed, $500,000 is still 500,000.
Exactly.
So SnoopyMKWii just pulled the switch. He is going to be waiting for the orb drop here. Let's see if he gets a quick one. Oh my goodness. That was an instant orb drop, and he swings the mouse around a little bit to be like, look at me. I got super lucky. Oh, goodness.
I wish I could get orb drops like that all the time. I only get them when I have bad times to the lever. It's like anytime I'm like, oh man, I could gold, the orb's just like, no.
Yeah, meanwhile, SnoopyMKWii is on actually fairly incredible pace. Ooh, Snoopy taking a projectile shot, crossing the pit of despair. So he's able to make it across, took a little bit of damage. SnoopyMKWii coming in with around a 722 dash, which is absolutely incredible
Yeah, that's
in
like
general.
359 on the split, so that's basically perfect dash. You can't do much better than that. He even gets the damage boost through the slime with dash. That's not easy to do. So SnoopyMKWii is playing very, very well right now.
Indeed. He's going to be making his way to Frankie Walk as Snoopy is ascending the platforms here. So he's playing pretty solid after those two deaths. Those are the kind of thing where you say, I can't believe if I hadn't died at the beginning, I would be having a really solid run right now. But because of that, just that early on mistake, and that's the sort of thing where most people reset during PB attempts, but you can't do that in a race.
Yeah, and it's definitely like you have to sort of fight through it to get your mental state back after you take a death like that, because it's like, well, my PB is pretty much dead, but what can I do?
No problem on Frankie Walk for SnoopyMKWii, and he is doing the dash glide across to dunk the Frankie. Very popular strat these days. Took a little while to catch on. I had to do a lot of work to get people interested in it, but now everyone seems to like it.
People were afraid of dash glides for a long time, but then they started to become more afraid of that Frankie and less afraid of an input we should have all learned a long time ago. So SnoopyMKWii coming up to the Grotto cycle now. This is a potential 8-second save if he can get these set of dashes right into these crushers. So we'll see how this goes for him. This is going to be a big deal for his, PB pace, and nails it.
Very nice. That was actually, it seemed like a slightly late jump, but he was able to pull it off. He's checking his HP. He's got 3. He's going to take 2 from those spikes, set up his ghost door. And Snoopy has just picked up dash, so he's going to be starting along the path over to double jump as well. No problem on ghost door for SnoopyMKWii. Ooh, close encounter with some spikes, but he did not end up taking a death there, so no problem. He's going to come in with a 930 double jump. Oh my goodness.
That's so good. That's such a great early game. I would love to run from an early game like that.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's like my PB has an early game approximately that good, and that's like the only time I've had an early game that good. So having this in a race is absolutely incredible. We'll see if he's able to keep up the pace. I mean, as we mentioned earlier, if he's able to pull off a 33-24 or better, he does actually bypass Terra. Maybe he's going to go for it. You never know.
It's certainly possible with a pace like this. Like, it's difficult. It's very difficult to keep it up for an entire run. But when you have a start like this, you have to be thinking not about just winning the race, but also about improving your PB, because it's definitely within reach. I'm not sure how the early game is in his PB, but he's at least on pace, probably ahead after this kind of start.
I seem to recall looking at his splits and seeing that his double jump in his PB is like a 230. So I think he's got room for improvement on that.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's definitely a missed cycle and a death. And man, forget 33. Is this the 32?
Oh my goodness. Snoopy coming in on his early cycle attempt, and he doesn't look like he's even going for it. Oh, he did go for it, actually. He had a pretty close shot at it, too.
It was close. The dashes were good, but he took too high of a jump on the wall, so he didn't land in the corner fast enough. But, one input away, basically, from succeeding there. So that was a nice attempt.
And we're going to see if he's, I think he's checked his HP, and he's probably at 1, 2, maybe? He was probably at 2? Yeah, I'm going to guess that he was.
Yeah, I didn't see when he checked his health, so I was like, well, hopefully he knows what he's doing with these damage boosts, because I have no idea.
Yes, and he did make it through no problem. He's coming in to double jump around 1130, so you can already see that SnoopyMKWii, with both, obviously not dying, and also a generally very, very good early game, he has opened up a 2-minute lead, which is, I mean, with no disrespect at all to Snoopy, is probably insurmountable for him over the course of the entire rest of the run. But of course, Ori is Ori. You never know.
Yeah, all Snoopy can do is just keep plugging along and keep going. And then, in terms of winning the race, I'm sure he has no illusions about his chances being not so great in this one. But if SnoopyMKWii kind of self-destructs in Sorrow, then anything can happen. But I hope not to see that. I hope SnoopyMKWii puts on a good run here, because I always like to see good Ori runs.
Indeed. Very nice first try grotto skip for Snoopy. So that's definitely going to make him feel a little bit better. You know, when you get to that grotto skip, you're able to get it first try. And Snoopy, of course, still has the kind of goal that he needs to avoid falling down into the pre-elimination bracket, and he can still do that by getting better than a 43. So it's not like he has nothing to really go for here. He definitely doesn't want to tank his average and end up having to face that extra first round.
Yeah, I haven't looked at all the data just yet, but I know aside from just him getting a better time than that to maintain his current 28th place standing, there are still a few fourth seed players left with matches. So if they put on a very good time, they could potentially improve their averages. So really, Snoopy just wants as good of an average as possible to maintain his position.
Right. And I think it's the case for most of those other players also in the fourth place. Oh, goodness, a rough death for SnoopyMKWii, but fortunately it's not too far after that safety save that just about everyone takes. So around a 10-second death, but I think he'll, kind of just chalk it up to at least it wasn't worse than that. Oh, he dashes directly into spikes again, going for that dash glide. That dash glide at the end of that room is not a good time.
It's spooky. I need to start doing that one because it actually matters in all cells, but you will generally see people just jump through there because the spitter cycle in the next room has already started and you can't beat you cannot get a faster cycle in all skills by doing the dash glide, so most people don't do it, but it's still good practice for other categories where you're not bound to that spitter cycle. SnoopyMKWii coming up on the mini boss now. Let's see how this goes. He gets a nice clean 8 hits in the first cycle, and he missed a shot in the second cycle, so no 5 cycle for him, but still looking to be a quick 6 cycle, I believe.
Indeed. He got trolled a little bit by the projectile from the spitter, leaving the little crap behind on the ground, which just it confuses you a little bit compared to normal where you don't usually get that.
Yeah, I wish I knew why it would sometimes leave the thing and why it doesn't. I remember in vanilla it would always leave the behind, so you just expect it. But in DE, it's like it's random. it seems so. You try to land on the stuff, and SnoopyMKWii taking a damage boost, not quite where he expected, but nice jump to avoid spiking his face.
Ooh, Snoopy was not able to put his save in the right place for this cutscene skip coming to Ginso. He also took the save intentionally on the Thornfelt teleporter, but he right after that took damage from one of the spinning saw blades. So he actually is still coming into Ginso with 1 health despite taking that safety save, which is not really a position you want to be in. Oh goodness. Boy. I was watching SnoopyMKWii practice just before this, and he had the same exact failure on that dash glide across there and took the same 3 damage. What we're looking to see here is when he gets to key dupe and he sets up his save, is he going to remember not to take the damage boost? Because he literally forgot it twice in a row in his practice run.
Oh man. Well, hopefully the practice paid off and he'll know to not take damage. We'll see how he opts.
He checked his HP. All right.
Okay,
he played
good.
Yeah, he played it a little safe, but and lost a couple seconds there, but better than dying again for sure.
Yes. His pace is still very good though. Like he's had some spaghetti in Genso. Like it's not the kind of Genso you want to see when you're going for a PB. But like the early game was so good that it can carry this through. So I have no doubt that SnoopyMKWii is still probably feeling quite good about this run.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, at this rate, if he continues playing about this pace and this capability, he might not be able to move up over Terra, but he's certainly going to make it extremely difficult for someone like me or try to think who else is in the 2nd seed range who has a match left for any of us to pass his average and move up.
Yeah, you can also make a statement like, you guys better be scared of me in brackets because this is the kind of race performance I'm going to put on. Indeed. We've got Snoopy coming into the mini boss now. Looking like Snoopy's opting for paced shots rather than spammed shots. You can get the same number of cycles on this boss with good pacing compared to good spamming, but looking like a few misses on the 1 frame tell for where the boss is and some kind of sad boss showing up and then going away as you get too close to it. So not a super fast mini boss, but not a bad mini boss for Snoopy by any means.
Indeed. Managing your position as SnoopyMKWii is just starting the escape, so still on ridiculous pace. Managing your position in that mini boss fight is very difficult and is a thing that you have to get used to over time. And it's definitely one of the kind of the last things that a runner is likely to get super comfortable with.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to get the full cycles in. SnoopyMKWii going through the escape now, yeah. Looks pretty nice.
Indeed, no problems so far. He's on good cycle on those projectiles. Maybe theoretically you could get a slightly faster cycle on the ones that the horizontal ones there, but he's fine either way. Just needs to get past the spider in these last 4 lanterns. He's not opting for the swag directly up bash to that lantern. He is fine. He's escaped at around a 17:37, which again is a very good time. Snoopy
Yeah,
having no
really
problems
nice.
with the dash glide right after bash there, so that's nice for him.
We'll see if he goes for this double bash here. Looks like he tried it but didn't get it, and he's just going to opt to let a cycle go. That's what I do there too. Is if I miss that double bash, I say, well, if I just missed a double bash, I'm not going to try this stupid backup double bash and miss that too and drop 2 cycles. So good job from him. Also nice noticing he took damage, but he knew that it was only 1 damage that he took there, so he could go for the damage boost anyways. So good decision to not waste time checking his health. And nice, yeah, that was pretty quick.
Keep there.
He was trying to fall directly into the spikes there, but he didn't quite get it. But yeah, it was pretty fast on the platform, so not bad at all. Coming in, what is that? 1829 stomp for SnoopyMKWii. That's pretty solid. Definitely still PB possible for him.
Yeah, this pace is fairly ludicrous. The early game that he's having is it's on pace with the early game in my PB roughly. And my PB, I lost like a minute 20 in the late game. So assuming SnoopyMKWii is as consistent as late game as he is at early game, we could actually be seeing a possible recorded PB for him. I'm not sure this would be able to top his unrecorded one, but you never know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think if it's perfect from here, he could still technically get a 32, but very, very unlikely. 32 is not easy by any means to get. And it would have to be perfect.
Yeah. And that's not, I mean, even close to perfect is not easy. Snoopy's setting up his core skip. Doesn't look like he had any problems. He's able to get the level up well into the room, so there's no issue getting the hit on both corruption orbs. SnoopyMKWii coming in for his Kuro cutscene. Skip. Nice. Excellent.
Skip.
An odd number of skips. Perfect.
Yes.
So he is able to get through with apparently nothing happened, because there's definitely nothing there. Certainly not a cutscene.
Patched out. Okay, he's definitely going for the 5th energy because he stopped to make a save there, and that instantly gets high value. Good job.
That is exactly why you make that save for sure.
Oh God. No! Too much value. We want less value out of the save than that, but it's still doing good work there, keeping him from going back to before the crow cutscenes. I hate that. See that spider shot that hits you like when you can't see it? That's the worst.
All right. For a second, I thought he was going to go for the spider projectile cutscene skip here, but he did not opt for it. He's just having a little bit of trouble menuing, but he's fine now.
Oh boy, that was an experience. So I wonder. Actually, no, I don't wonder. He's definitely going to do the experience thing out of Sorrow, because that's where the idea originally came from, was him doing the experience thing out of Sorrow. So we're surely going to see that since he has 5 energy.
So SnoopyMKWii's picking up Charge Flame now. He is opting for making the save after the Charge Flame tree, which is a slightly different strat than some of the top runners use, but it only costs like a very small amount of time in terms of what you can do to get through this wall that's after the spirit well, spirit well.
Yeah, it just makes you stomp it instead of charge flaming it. It's not a big deal, and it prevents you from having to bash a Frankie around to save anywhere up, which is not the most fun thing. So you can understand somebody opting not to do it.
Indeed, and he looks like he got a pretty good cutscene skip on the spirit tree, so no problem. And SnoopyMKWii is making his way over to stomp with a little extra damage taken there, but fortunately he had full HP, so no problem. Ooh.
We're up there. All right, so SnoopyMKWii is going to be progressing on to fast stompless pretty soon. We're kind of seeing it fall apart a little bit for him here. Like, he's still doing well. He's still, in a dominant position in this race. But compared to that absolutely beautiful early game up to Ginso, we're seeing mistakes here and there that's kind of just like, this is why playing for a PB, playing perfectly is just tough, because there's so many little things that you can do that just mess you up and make you lose time. But no catastrophic deaths. It's just been like small things here and there that are kind of killing the run through 1,000 cuts. So we'll see how this fast stompless goes.
And indeed we will. He has not missed Fast Stompless in a race so far in his 2 previous races. So we're going to see how his aim is. That looks
That
very
looks
good.
perfect.
No
Nice movement,
problems with the movement. The spider shot is good. He does the stomp stall.
Stomp stall.
No problem.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's a textbook skip there.
One of the things that that you want to think about as you're describing, the fact that he was on PB pace and maybe he switched into PB mode, but at the same time, like, on the one hand, doing PB attempts like just in, on your own time on your stream, like there's already a lot of pressure when you're on a very good pace. But I wonder if the fact that it's within the race setting, even though that, like, in his mind, certainly if he's ahead that much, he knows he's probably winning no matter what. But maybe that just adds a little bit of anxiety either way, like in a subconscious way, despite logic.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely, like, the dream is definitely to get your PB VOD to be the speed gaming VOD that got commentated for you, I think. So everybody wants the PB in the races. Everybody wants the PB just in general, of course. So yeah, it can add some pressure. I know, like, thanks to the fact that, well, I don't have SnoopyMKWii splits up, but his timer is only going red briefly as he comes up to the end of splits. So he's still definitely within range if he has a very good late game, but it's definitely going to be tough for him, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say how good his late game was, but given the fact that there was stuff like the 2-minute 30-second double jump segment, I'm gonna guess the late game was pretty solid. So we're gonna have to see whether he's able to do as well as in his PB and possibly salvage some time somewhere along the way. And yeah, we don't really have his splits available because there was an offline PB, so he both did not submit it and also did not upload the splits anywhere.
Oh, missing the start of that save anywhere. That means he probably can't get the early cycle on the way down, but he should be aware of that, I think, so he's probably not going to die. Snoopy's coming up into Valley now. Now, what do we know about Snoopy's Valley? I'm sure I have stats somewhere on whether he goes for Stompless or not.
That is a good question. I think that he may.
I will find out in one moment.
I know that he's been doing some of the, some of the better, more challenging strats lately, and he's really been trying to push for sub 40 and just hasn't quite been able to hit that yet. But he is really on the cusp. His PB is a 40-19, which is very close. So like we said earlier, he just accomplished that before the race. Looks like he has not gone for Fast Stompless in the last 2 races.
Yeah, so that doesn't mean that he's not going to go for it, though, because he could have practiced it and added it in. So we'll have to see as he approaches this, just passing this next bird. We'll find out what's going on.
Ooh, a little bit of a scary moment with that bird.
Yeah, his health's low now. It's either moments. 1 or 2.
Okay, he's not going for it. So that's, consistent with his strats, at least. Okay.
Now, I like this, getting charge dash here. I think when you don't go for Fast Stompless, you might as well, because it lets you do oh boy. Oh boy.
What's happening?
Oh boy.
Get up there.
Okay, so it lets you charge dash at the spiders. That wasn't quite exactly the movement that...
Oh
my god,
SnoopyMKWii with a terrifying stomp cancel there. But he is able to make it down to Misty, so that was very interesting.
Okay, he kept all the energy, and he did the fast, like, no touchdown movement on the way in, so... Yeah, he opted clearly for the experience. You can see his experience bar is filled halfway up, and I believe he did not get the ability cell out of Zoro, so we're going to see the level up at the mini boss. So this is kind of a cool new strat that SnoopyMKWii sort of brought up, and then I said, wow, could that be faster? And it actually is if you have 5 energies, so kind of neat new fresh strat from earlier this week, I guess.
Indeed. He's making a good pace through Misty. He earlier on looked like he really wanted, he was like fishing for a health drop, and he didn't quite pick it up, and then he said, I'll just keep going. And he was at 2 health, so it was just a little scary, and maybe he's feeling a little bit of that pressure. Oh no. Wow.
I was wondering if he was going to save because he was still at 3, but I was like, no. You don't normally die in this section, but he dashed too high into the spikes. I've done that death exactly, and that... no.
Yep.
That hurts a lot.
Yeah, that puts an end to any conception of PB talk, unfortunately.
It's over. It's all over.
Yeah, he'll definitely still have a very, very sizable lead as Snoopy just coming in. Wow, having some very odd loading shenanigans coming to Sorrow Pass. Oh, and the death.
Oh, ouch.
Just getting trolled a little bit there by the slime drop on the ground, and that was enough to cause him to take a death there. And he's just having a little bit of a problem with Sorrow Bash. Again, not an easy trick at all. In his previous runs, he's done this on second try and third try in the tournament. So this is looking to be around 4, I think.
Yeah, it's not a fun position to have to do Sorrow Bash again after you've already got in there once. So hopefully he'll be able to make it to whatever safety save he's going to place, if he's going to place one, which is usually after this first part with the frog that people do it. Though he's getting the energy now, so maybe he's just saying, okay, I'm not doing this crap again, I'm going to save here. Or not.
He was just waiting for a safe spot to be able to... Oh, he did not get the rocket jump. That is going to be a problem. He's either going to have to sacrifice... Okay, he's going to sacrifice the later rocket jumps. Instead, he opts to take the safety save here, which I think for him is definitely the right call. SnoopyMKWii does now make it into climb. He must be pretty far behind right now, unfortunately, compared to his PB, that is.
Yeah, still a very good race time possible, but my gosh, you could not... When you talk about painful late-game deaths, there's not one that's much worse than the one he took there, so... Yeah, that's rough. He'll just be looking to finish it out strong. I actually didn't notice on his way back in through Misty if he made any saves to kind of prevent that from happening again, but I also didn't see him take any damage, so you kind of feel okay when you're at 4 health in Misty, because you can take a spike hit and you'll live.
Well, that stop cancel?
That was so cool. That was so
I've never
cool.
seen that before.
He charge jumped off the flowers so early and then got over there with a stomp cancel that actually had a line to charge dash the Frankie. Okay, I've never seen that movement before, and that's amazing.
Yeah, that is brand new. I've never seen any other runner do that, and that's pretty awesome. Meanwhile, Snoopy, the other runner whose name starts with an S, has made it to charge jump. Recall that he had to make the save earlier at the cost of the rocket jump up to the top, so he does still have to go pick up Sunstone right now.
Yeah, turned out he didn't need that safety save. Well, I guess he did kill himself to juggle the frog, but he didn't really need that safety save because he didn't have any unintentional deaths there. But you know, sometimes you would die if you didn't make the save, and you lived because you made it. You had that confidence.
Indeed. SnoopyMKWii had a little bit of spaghetti on the mini boss. That's not the first time that I've seen that today. I have no idea what that movement he just did was, but whatever. But yeah, earlier in his practice, he was just having a little bit of issues with the mini boss. Somehow that the quick kills on that mini boss and stuff seem to go in waves. Occasionally, you will just not be able to do it anymore. It just will escape you completely.
Yeah, for a while I was stuck doing the vanilla quick kill because I tried to practice one of the newer quick kills and took away my ability to do the older one because the rhythm was just all gone from my hands. So for a few days I was doing it the slow way, and yeah, that's how it goes with those. You just forget, which button you're supposed to press when, and then suddenly you don't know how the boss dies anymore.
Indeed. SnoopyMKWii's coming in with his save to force the door open for the later teleport out of BRB, and now he's heading down, try to see if he can get his Yoka laser cycle. Looks pretty good.
I want to see what he does with his energy here, because he has 4 energy still. He did cancels all the way across Valley, so it might just be he's just going to charge dash all the heck across this top platform at the end. Oh, he's trying to... Was he trying to bash the shot, or was that Mortar Worm just shooting fast?
I think that was just shooting when he didn't expect it. Yeah, he does just dump all that energy real quick, charge dashing over towards Light Burst, and he picks it up now, and he is already behind on his next segment, unfortunately. So that's pretty
brutal.
That's the feel you get when you take that death, unfortunately, during the charge jump segment. Snoopy, you're having some very interesting issues with that climb there, but he makes it. He is waving his mouse around frantically. What the heck is going on? Somebody let me off this ride.
Missed rocket jump from SnoopyMKWii there, but at least he didn't find himself getting lasered or spiked, so definitely not the worst result there. He'll be progressing his way out of Blackroot, and see if he opts for a safety save before this boulder part. Sometimes this just kills you.
He doesn't.
He's confident, though. Very nice, clean boulder part.
Yes, SnoopyMKWii's been playing... I mean, not to understate it, SnoopyMKWii, other than that death, on the way to climb. He's been playing incredibly well. His entire run has been extremely solid. And that one death is just kind of the thing that at the end has kind of made the difference in terms of his overall time.
Yeah, I don't have the exact timer on that death, but I would estimate that death cost about a minute 20. So we'll see what his final time is and what he would have gotten if he could erase that death from the run.
This is looking on pace to be a 35, maybe a lowish 35, and we're going to see as he gets to the door of Mount Horu whether Door Warp will permit or prevent that. Snoopy is making his way through the back half of Misty, so we'll keep an eye on him right after. He makes the safety save. Never a bad play.
Yeah, that does only heal him for 2, though, and he just dumped an energy not getting a bash on that Frankie there. So he is at 3 health, so Spikes will one-shot Snoopy right now. So you got to be a little nervous for him progressing through Misty. And Door Warp is not being very kind to SnoopyMKWii at all.
So this is actually interesting because SnoopyMKWii has not missed Door Warp in this tournament before now. And now he's missed it a whole bunch of times. That is
I lost count already.
I think it was around 4. Oh, Snoopy taking a rough death. He's already going back to that safety save again. SnoopyMKWii finally gets it. That was looked like 5 or 6. We are being told 5 from our man in the truck. So, oh man, when it rains, it pours sometimes. Like, wow.
Yeah, well, I mean, the bright side, if you have to take a bright side out of a 5th try Door Warp, is at least it didn't kill his PB in a tragic way just at the end because it was already dead.
That's true. So it looks like he'll be able to come out, assuming no deaths here. Incidentally, he has also not missed fish strats in this tournament so far. So we're going to see if he's able to pull that off. Snoopy taking some extra damage from that dropping slime.
Oh, this part's so scary when you take damage there because you want to save to get your health back, but you can't. Okay, he doesn't want to save. He's too manly for that.
He might save at the keystone.
Yeah.
Looks like he will. SnoopyMKWii coming up on fish strats. Let's see. Of course he's going to go for it. That's no surprise. A very quick execution. Oh, nice. He puts it nearly in the fire, but there's no problem. Dear good God.
I was a little scared on that last bash there. I was like, that might pull you into the fire and kill you, but he released it soon enough and no issues. So SnoopyMKWii finishing up there. He'll just be holding right for a little bit, and then his timer will stop once he finally loses control.
And that should be around a 35-40, so pretty well in line with his existing average. Actually, a little bit faster than his current average of 36-44. So it'll improve it just a little bit. Set the targets for people like me, and it looks like Red Rum and Rufus are the only other ones with matches left who would be second seeds. Mm-hmm. So just setting it a little higher for us to try to hit that mark. But yeah, not a bad time certainly, given the 2 very costly things that occurred.
Yeah, I think barring some insane performance from the other second seeds, as you were saying, he's pretty comfortably sitting in 11th coming into the bracket from that. So nice job from SnoopyMKWii through the group stage. Well played to him. Indeed.
He'll be coming upon the end shortly as Snoopy is teleporting into BRB. We'll see what that time is for SnoopyMKWii. Looks like a 35-40. So congratulations to him on going 2-1 in the tournament, taking the second seed in this group. Snoopy is going to come out with 4th place, and Chicken will come out with 3rd. And we're going to see if Snoopy is going to be able to meet his goal to not fall into the pre-elimination bracket. It looks pretty good for that right now, with a 36 coming into Light Burst. Doesn't seem all that likely that he would go as far as a 43 in this race. Goodness, the lasers.
Still looking at about a 40-ish time from this, assuming nothing too catastrophic happens. Of course, things that are catastrophic can happen, but we'll hope to see just a smooth progression to the end from Snoopy here, and I think he'll be able to do it just fine.
Indeed, and it looks like his cutscene skip was no problem whatsoever. He has a couple energy to throw on charge dashes there, and he'll make his way to Light Burst. So, looks like PB is pretty out of reach for him at the moment. For a runner doing very good strats, finishing the last 2 segments, it's around 4 minutes total. And Snoopy, I think, probably does not have that full level of confidence to be able to pull that off. So I would expect more like a 415 or 420 from him. So he can definitely come in around a mid 40 time or possibly 41. Oh, it takes
that's
the
a
laser death. And he took the value safety save rekindle there. So smart play on his part. That's only a couple seconds worth of death instead of like 15 or 20.
Yeah, nice rocket jump out of there too. That's sort of a newer strat. You have to get the fast cycle on the way in to even go for it, and then be quick to not get lasered. So
oh, he doesn't take the save, but he doesn't boost off the spikes. What a strat by Snoopy!
He charge jumped off the top of. That's so good.
Oh my goodness, that is a very clever little, just a reaction play. Like, there's no way that he was thinking in his head, I'm going to recover in this specific way. You have to just react and just do it.
I should practice and see if you can like land on top of that pillar intentionally. that'd be a neat strat.
God, please no. Snoopy is crossing Horu Fields and he's making his way to the entrance. We are aware that he's having a little bit of frame dropping issues. Not the first time, unfortunately. He just plays on a laptop, and that makes it sometimes hard to be able to stream at high quality while also playing the game. As far as I understand from talking to him multiple times, this doesn't represent any issues for him actually playing the game while this is happening. It only just drops frames coming through on the stream, so he's still able to play at his normal capability.
Yeah, it's just internet can be internet sometimes. So he's coming up with the door warp here. Not first try. We'll see how this one goes for him.
Door warp.
Door warp never change. Actually, please change. But,
third try, so not too terrible. Yeah, I think he'll take that. This looks like it could be, we're looking like low 41 range, assuming no deaths here. I'm going to assume, based on his other strats that he does, that there's no likelihood that he does fish strats. I have seen him do fish strats before, once. I happened to be watching him do a practice run the other day, and at the end he was like he was tilted, so he's just like, I'm doing fish strats, and he pulled it off, and then he was like, that was the first time I ever did that.
Yeah, he hasn't done it in his other tournament races, as you said, so I doubt he's going to go for it, but maybe you just gotta show off in your last match.
Oh no, he's having some problems with the laser pillar, and he does take a death, unfortunately. It's just setting him back a little bit. I think he's still easily within range of getting the 43 time that he needs to not go to prelims, but that's just at the end of the race, you want to finish on a strong note, just to get the feel good at the end, and unfortunately not quite with the death of the lava pillar.
Yeah, I think it'll still feel good if he just gets through this last bit of the escape. I would predict he's not going to do fish strats. He probably just wants to finish, take a firm hold of that top 4th seating, and
he is going for fish strats. Wow!
Here we go. Nice double bash. Let's go. Oh, that looks like it's
God! Okay, now he's going for normal strats.
He's just relocating the. Oh no!
Oh no!
He's alive still.
This is the best slideshow of all time. He does manage to come to the finish line. He should come in, looked like a sub 42, and that is going to keep him safe at the moment from the prelimination bracket section. I will get you some updated numbers as soon as we get his final time there. But congratulations to both runners on finishing here.
All right, so during, I guess, the cutscene that we just watched there, here comes Snoopy into Twitch chat. Why did I go for fish strats? Oh boy, because they're the best.
They are the best. Oh my goodness. So, overall this race, I'd say about what we expected, but a really good performance on Stafoo's part, just in terms of really showing us what his skill level is, aside from the one death, which of course, one death in this game can make a huge time difference, but in terms of quality of play, like, there was a clear high level on display the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And from Snoopy, just seeing that he was able to play pretty consistently to his current level of skill. Like he had a couple deaths early on. I think if he hadn't had those deaths early on, he actually would have been very close to his PB.
Yeah, he did a good job of bringing it back. Other than that, like there was some issues, like Suro dying inside Suro and having to redo for Suro Bash. Like that was rough, but other than things like that and those early deaths, it was a very good run overall. And looks like he comes in under 42, so he should be pretty comfortable keeping his expected seeding that he would have had at the start of this game.
Yeah, indeed. For Skyfo now to be able to unseat Snoopy from the 28th position and be able to knock him down in the pre-elimination, he would need to get a 38 in his next race, which is not, unfortunately for him, very likely. And the next closest person is Richard, who would need to get a 33. So that is super unlikely, unfortunately for him. So it looks like Snoopy is going to be pretty confident in having that 28th place position, and he's going to be able to escape the pre-elimination round. And he'll be going against I guess Epicat as previously projected.
Yeah, probably. And I think actually, I'm not even sure how much the top seeds can mix up, but it'll be Epicat or it'll be somebody. So a very tough first round match, but you made it to the round of 32, so you're already more successful than getting pre-eliminated.
Indeed. So that was pretty fun. What have we got coming up, Sigma?
Oh, let's take a look at the schedule here. I don't think there's any more free today, but how about things on speed gaming? Let me just open this link.
Indeed, I will do the same.
Nothing.
Wow, it looks like a quiet day today.
All right, wait.
We got the best of NES marathons.
Oh, there's Mega Man 3 at
sorry,
11:30 at night.
Oh, really? Where?
Yeah, it's hiding. You can see it on the Sunday thing.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so late tonight, you got some Mega Man 3. And then tomorrow has a lot of stuff in it. Mega Man X2, more Mega Man X2, whatever Master 15 number 3 is. I should have looked up what this was beforehand, but...
So it's a race of 15, I believe, Master System games, back to back to back by basically anyone, whoever wants to participate, I believe.
Well, that's awesome.
That should be pretty cool. And we also have the Big 20 race with there are 20 NES games selected by, there's a group that sets them up, the Best of NES group. That should be going on, I think, twitch.tv/bestofnes. So that's probably worth a watch, and I think we could send people over to check that out after this. Then what have we got in Ori tomorrow?
Ori tomorrow is getting a lot more active. We've got 3 matches coming up at 7 Eastern and then 10 and 11 Eastern. And those are going to be Booligan versus Richard, first up. Wait, this says it's 6 on the schedule. Can I not read the times? Alright.
What is happening in your brain?
I am reading last week's data.
Cool. Looking forward to those matches last week.
At 6 Eastern tomorrow. I just read out everything that was happening last Sunday. There's Ocarina of Time tomorrow. I'm getting fired after this.
You need a nap?
Apparently.
Oh, goodness.
It's mid-afternoon. I'm getting sleepy. All right, but yeah, tomorrow there's one match at 6 Eastern, which is Booligan versus Richard. That's it. Please send help.
All right, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Yeah, we need to get you back in the truck and.
Yeah, please put me back in the truck.
Oh goodness.
It's too much responsibility up here.
A quick standings preview on that matchup. In my group, the Hollow Grove group, there's actually none of the positions of the group results are actually determined yet. Depending on the results of the remaining 2 matches, there's 2 different possibilities of a 2-1 tie and a 1-2 tie of 3-way ties. So those could happen. Some weird stuff would occur, but most likely we're going to see Ella walk away with a victory over Kyrfel, and hopefully I will walk away with a victory over Richard. The big story is if I'm able to improve my improve my tournament average by I think I need to get a 35 I can top Stafoo's average potentially. I know it's a 34. Dang it, Stafoo. Should have gotten a slower time. Um, and then of course Elo also has the opportunity to improve his average just a little bit if he is able to get a 12-second faster time than Epic Cat gets, then he will be able to swap places with him. So little things in terms of seeding that we're going to be looking to see tomorrow. And of course, you never know. Maybe Richard will upset me, and then I will be very sad.
Yeah, we've got some news in from the truck. That's Richard bringing us the news that he's going to beat Villagin, no problem. And you're going down, yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess that sucks for me. I'll probably have to start looking at what it's going to be like when I'm in 4th seed then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, man. Well, that's going to do it for today for Ori and Speed Gaming. But guys, keep tuning in, please. Group stage is coming to an end. Again, after the SNES Superstars Marathon, which is the entirety of March 10th through 19th, we will begin our bracket stage. And probably during this coming week, we're going to figure out a time and we're going to have a bracket show where we're going to tell you all about what's going to be going on and what things are going to look like. So watch for that. We'll announce it, Twitter, Speed Gaming, etc. But Sigma, thank you so much for joining today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Villagin. We'll see you guys later.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.